This edition of Mac Voices TV is brought to you by media sponsor Take Control eBooks. The answers you need now from leading experts. Find out more and download your copy at takecontrolbooks.com. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is Mac Voices TV. Folks, there are a lot of events in the Mac community that come and go, but there's an up-and-coming series that seems to have gotten off the ground really well. And here to talk a little bit about how it's gone and where it's going is Neil Ticktin of MacTech. Neil, it's great to have you.
It's great to be here, Chuck. It's always good to see you.
It absolutely is good to see you, too. And you know, when you started the MacTech Conference, it's like, okay, how's this going to work? And it seems to have worked very well, yeah. And now you're expanding it or starting to expand it in kind of a big way.
Yeah. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that we've actually have a ton of event experience that people have already been a part of. We ran Apple's exhibit fair at WWDC for almost 10 years, or about 10 years. We did all the special interest pavilions at Macworld Expo and other shows around the country. We've started a bunch of pavilions. We've done stuff in the photo industry and the food industry. There's a lot of event stuff that we've been doing. So a couple of years ago, when the landscape started to change on what events were in there in the community and serving the developer and the IT community, there was an opportunity for us to do something. And so just before WWDC in 2010, we sat down, thought about it, gave it the consideration it was due, and went ahead and announced that we were doing MacTech Conference. And just a short 4 or 5 months later, there we were doing MacTech Conference. And the first event came off very, very well, and I was so gratified with the response that people did. We were very humbled by how much people really enjoyed seeing the event. And when an event gets a standing ovation, not for the people, but for the event itself, and 100% of your attendees say, I would recommend this conference, out there, you've done something, right. As we went ahead and we did that, we had a number of people say, look, I would love to come to a MacTech event, and but you're doing IT Pro, Enterprise at MacTech Conference, Developer at MacTech Conference, and the multi-track stuff. What about the small to medium-sized business consultant? What about the content for us? So how do we come to have a MacTech event for us? So we thought about it and we said, let's do MacTech Boot Camp for this, and went on our way and did MacTech Boot Camp, and that all went really, really well and sold out the event and picked it up and took it on the road and went to Dallas and Boston, Chicago and Los Angeles, and that all went really well. And then they said, well, we'd really like to have a deep dive on a topic. Can you do that for us? I'm like, okay, so MacTech InDepth. And so we did the first MacTech InDepth in December of 2011, was on mobile device management, deep dive, one topic all day long. And so we're in 2010, we had one event. In 2011, we had 7 events, the 5 boot camps, the conference, and the InDepth. In 2012, we laid out our schedule. It's now all out there, and we have 15 events across the country in the United States. 7 boot camps, 7 in-depths, and then, of course, the flagship event, MacTech Conference.
Now, judging by some of the things you just said, this is not a trade show, and this is not a user conference kind of thing. This is for the people that are doing the coding, doing the consulting, they're MacTech people.
Yeah, so exactly. So our MacTech Conference is definitely for IT pros, enterprise, and developers. So the techiest of the techie that are in there, if you will. Really, they're the cream of the crop in our industry. At our last event, most events around the country people come from a relatively confined space within maybe 500 miles for most people. But MacTech Conference has never been that way. In fact, at the last MacTech Conference, we had attendees from 40 states and 15 countries, and our speakers came from 6 countries as well. So we have a very international presence, and it was like that right from the first time. The MacTech Boot Camp is for small to medium-sized business consultants and home user consultants and people that want to make a living supporting other people and helping them, use their machine and helping the businesses, find the best solutions that are out there. And so all the content is about them being a better consultant. And some of that's technical. Some of that is actually, how do you do some stuff more on the business side of things? Or how do you do the mixture of the two in there to just give the best consulting experience to their clients and for them to make as much money as possible? There's a lot of things that we do that help them learn how to make a lot more revenue. And then finally, InDepth is a very different kind of beast because we have everything from VPs and director level people that just want to get an understanding of a topic well enough that they can manage it, to those people that are truly hands-on or are looking for new ways to go about doing things. So each has their separate target, and it's all about the content that's each one. They are very much about the content and the us teaching about it. It's a MacTech national curriculum that we have some of the best and brightest in the industry that are helping create this and vet this out so that each topic is really well defined and well thought out, and the key things are really done in there. But at the end of the day, it's not just about that. It's about the opportunity to come and network with like-minded people, to network people that you already know, to meet new people, to meet speakers that maybe you'd never have a chance to interact with, to take those face with a name stuff from all the email lists that you may have been on over time. It's also to talk to some of the key vendors. We're very careful about how we select our vendors that come to the event. They're there to do face-to-face interaction. Sometimes it's virtual interaction, sometimes it's in person. Most of the times it's in person, but you can have a really that one question you want to ask the one guy from whatever company that's out there, and we've been very fortunate. I mean, Microsoft is a national sponsor for us. PeachPit's a national sponsor for us, and we have many other ones that are coming on over here in the next a couple of months as the year begins. So it's kind of a mixture of all these things. It's about the people, it's about the content, it's about the experience of coming together as a community.
I think you said the next MacTech event is coming up in March.
Yep.
How far ahead do you determine the topics that you're going to cover or the focus of each one of the different events?
Yeah, so for MacTech Boot Camp, the curriculum is set already. We've just made our updates for the 2012 curriculum. It's a little different from 2011. We're always looking for feedback and and updating it, but it is going to be, I would imagine, relatively consistent as the year goes on, just tweaked. That's now up in there. People can see what the topics and the sessions look like. In the case of MacTech InDepth, there are three different topics. There's three different types of MacTech InDepth. There's one on Lion server administration. First one of those is at the end of March in Austin, and so that whole day is just about administering Lion server, which is a hot topic right now. The other one is on mobile device management. So what do you need to know about it? There's a lot of people with their head in the sand on mobile device management. They know they need to do it, but it's kind of like backups. Until you get burned really badly, you don't really learn the lesson that you need to do mobile device management. So we'll see that one come around. And then, of course, everybody knows how much fun networks can be. And so our network and Wi-Fi design and troubleshooting, MacTech InDepth, that curriculum is mostly done, and it's pretty much there. But over the I'll say by mid to end of February kind of thing, we're pretty close to finishing up all four of those curriculums. Lastly, MacTech Conference is done in a different way. That's actually where we go out to the community and say, hey, what do you want to know about? And at the same time, we go to the experts in the community and say, hey, what do you want to talk about? And so we have a very kind of mixture of stuff. Our executive editor for the magazine is the sessions chair for the overall sessions chair and also for the IT track. That's Ed Marzak, and he's unbelievable. He's highly respected in the industry, just a great guy overall. And our developer track has had incredible support last year. Scotty, who does NS Conference in the UK, we acquired their US event last year. He was our session chair for the developer track, and so I expect more of the same. And that's how we do the content for the events.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like you focus, you give people plenty of time. You don't just say, okay, we're going to do this one, and you're going to have to travel to get there. So you're trying to bring the same subject into different regions, right, making it easy. What kind of cost is there associated with attending these, obviously, other than travel?
Right. Well, so the first thing is let's talk about the cities here real quick. So it's all over the country, and I'll let people go and look on the website at MacTech.com to see which date is which one in there and whether. But the cities that we're covering this year are not in this order, but they are Seattle, San Jose. Los Angeles will have MacTech Conference. That's the big one. San Diego, Phoenix, Austin, Minneapolis, Chicago, Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., and Miami. So we have 12 cities that have the 15 events in them that we're spreading all around. Most of the events are one-day events. There's a couple of cities that have back-to-back one-day events. You go to one event or the other or both. There's discounts if you go to the both. And then conference is a 3-day event that is just, it's almost like camp. It's a breakfast at 8, and sessions are at 9, and we feed you throughout the day, and we have activities in the evening, and it's just a lot of fun. People really enjoy the experience on it. It's funny, as we've been kind of going through and thinking about logistics and stuff for this year. We have our what we think we're going to be doing and feeding meal servings and snack servings and stuff like that, and we actually have something like, we expect to have 10,000 servings of meals this year, wow, which is pretty considerable when you start to think about what's going on. In any event, the people will be able to go ahead and see which dates. The dates are all up. The cities are all up. People can check out what they do, and they can register now. And on the one-day seminars, on the early bird discount, it is about $300. There's actually a special MacVoices URL, which people will be able to get to, that not only will get them that pricing, but also a subscription to the magazine, which is worth another $50. So that's good for them as well. So we'll take care of all of your viewers and listeners in that way. And then for MacTech Conference, which is the 3-day event, the early bird pricing on that one starts at $795, and then it goes up as we get closer to the event. So all of the events, the closer you get, the more expensive it gets. So early bird is how you get your better deals on it.
Sure. And some people are used to paying $25 for a conference. That's not what this is. This is a pro level conference. Yeah. It's with pro level content. That's what the going price is. I don't care what your industry. And like you sit down and think about meals, logistics, all the presentation equipment that you have to have. Right. It's not an inexpensive conference, and when you're targeting that size of an event, yeah, it just, you do the math and it comes out. So, and it's a good investment for people that are really into this, that are making their living doing this.
Right. And that's the thing, is that we call the MacTech events your personal upgrade. You talk about upgrading your computer and your software. This is your personal upgrade, and $25 for an exhibit hall kind of thing, that makes sense, and that's an awesome thing to be able to do, and you should do that, and you should be exposed to what people are doing. But conferences and seminars are where you really get to learn, and much more so even find networking opportunities that are there. And we're really designed about the community, about bringing the network together, about having material that's been vetted out by a lot of people on it. There's a lot that we're doing at these events, and the cost of food alone is so much higher than what people think that it is when you go to to do a hotel event like this, and to feed them well. I mean, we're not gonna. This is not peanut butter and jelly sandwiches kind of stuff. I mean, it's like we really want you to eat, and we want you to be satisfied. Nobody will walk away if you walk away hungry from one of our events. That's your own fault. There was plenty of food there. So
well, as far as the cost of that goes, the good news is you're not doing a wedding, or otherwise you'd be in real trouble.
Well, it's actually kind of the same thing. It's really kind of yeah, way up there on it. So, but yeah, it's an expensive proposition to put on if you're going to do it right, and that's what we like to do. And the attendees are giving us the feedback saying, yes, you're doing it right. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't go from one event to 7 events to 15 events. So,
Well, clearly, if you've had that kind of success with the events you've already done, right, and there is a demand for more, then you have the blueprint down. Yeah. It's just a matter of organizing and delivering it and letting the people come and tell you what they want, and that's the approach you're taking.
Right. And we've been, MacTech's been pulling in new people. There's new processes that are going in place in order to handle this stuff, and we're really excited about it. And one of the big things for us is just again, the way that people feel when they're at our event. It's we want them to feel very comfortable, and we go out of our way to make that happen. And anybody who's been to one of our events can tell you what that's like.
So the website for the folks who want to go and check this out, see the full schedule and get signed up?
So the easiest place is to go to www.mactech.com/events. If you can't remember that, just go to the MacTech website, and at the top it says conferences and seminars, and there's a link there, and it's got all the different ones, and the in-depth ones and the boot camps are very well defined up there. Conference, which is not until next October, is a little bit further out, and that'll start to come together here in the spring.
Great. Neil, it's good to see you and talk to you, and congratulations on the expansion of the MacTech empire.
Well, thank you very much, Chuck, and it's great to see you as well. It's always great to do it, so I look forward to doing it.
We will do it more.
Great, thanks.
Good to see you. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is MacVoicesTV. We are the talk of the Mac community, and the MacTech conferences are the new talk of the Mac community. Thanks for watching. Mac Voices TV is part of the Mac Voices Group and a member of Mac Level 10.